Uh, did did LeBron ever do a 60 something? I would
No,
say
the only 70-point guys are
Booker, Lillard, Mitchell.
that's it.
Guards. Yeah, I can see why the guards would do it. It's amazing how all of them are 6'3", 6 foot guards. So yeah, I would say I it's just the ball dominance. It's a perfect storm. Yeah. Now that I think about it, LeBron wouldn't. Mm-mm.
I mean,
Westbrook.
no, he doesn't like.
His time
Dude,
is past. His time is,
his
but
time has passed, but even in his peak, he wasn't going off for like 60 points.
he had 50 a couple times, right?
I think
I
a
guess
couple of times, but like,
Luka will probably be the next one.
yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Is like, who do you think would be next?
Yep. Luka. I don't see anyone else. Not any forwards.
I think KD can just get wet one night. Just
Yeah.
like wet KD is just gonna just drain threes.
He's too comfortable with not being ball dominant, which is why I love him. But yeah, I just feel like that would be nice. I would. That's why he's top 10.
I guess, but welcome in to another episode of the Bitcoin Ballers podcast. This is episode 3. I am your host Q, and I'm joined by my co-host Sir Ulric. Um, let's get right on into it, man. Like we already started talking a little bit, but I wanted to start the conversation on Dame Dalla. Dame time went off for 71 points. It is worth noting because a lot of people missed this is the second 71-point game this season. It just so happens that poor Donovan Mitchell went off for 71 points the same night that DeMar Hamlin went into cardiac arrest and died on the football field. So nobody was paying attention to Donovan Mitchell. But this has now happened twice. And it's worth noting because this is the third most points ever scored in an NBA game behind none other than Kobe Bryant with 81, and then lo and behold, Wilt Chamberlain with a nice round 100, which, like, look, I didn't witness the game. You didn't witness the game. My daddy didn't witness the game. 100 sounds just like almost a little too nice. So as far as I'm concerned, 81 points is the real all-time high.
Are you saying that Wilkes game was a scam?
Dude, honestly, I've never had it audited. Like 100 just starts to sound too like
Does
easy.
50 points a game sound unbelievable?
Yes.
Because it
Honestly,
is, and that's how great Wilt was.
yeah. It's really easy to be great when you're 7 foot and your opponent is 6'3".
I you know, I was
You can't act like that wasn't happening. You cannot act like he didn't have 6'3" centers line up on the other side of the court.
then all the more reason why we have this Celtic simping and worship where they won what 8 championships in a row or 8 championships in the 60s. Bill Russell won 11, a 9 and then 2 as a coach. Why do we care if there are only 12 teams in the NBA? And yeah, and Russell was only playing up against Wilt, and there may have been one other big guy, but the rest of the guys, I tell you, I remember seeing Wilt Chamberlain's roster when they won, I think the year they won, because I was looking up, a bunch of players that were contemporaries of him, and their next tallest guy was 6'5" and 6'3" and 6'1", and they were good. They were balling
Yeah,
out,
dude, Jerry
but
West was really good for his fucking day and age. And if he ever tried to play basketball at his peak right now, like he probably wouldn't make an NBA roster.
hold on. Now I have a different take on that one. I think Jerry
Have you
West.
like have you watched Jerry? Like, there's footage of Jerry West.
I've
You've seen
seen,
it,
yeah,
right?
but you're a product of your environment, and so
Totally.
go ahead, tell me
No,
how
go.
everyone in the
No,
70s sucked.
go.
I'm just saying, like, so you're trying to tell me Rick Barry had a conversation about this before, where it's like, yeah, if I had all the medicine and the training and the science behind the players that are playing now, hell yeah, I would be scoring 30 points a game now. But the catch is that as we progress with humanity, as a civilization, we're all raising the bar. Yeah, I can probably jump back in time and go play professional basketball in the 40s. And they're like, what the heck is that? I was a walk-on in college, and I'd probably look like Christ incarnate on the court in 1944. But that's not the catch. The catch is that
because they wouldn't let black people on the court back then. Sorry, I had to. I had to.
Of course. But it's like the problem is that we can't be judging. Oh yeah, Jerry West wouldn't play. Now what you do know is that Jerry West played against athletes. He played against great players that are considered all-time greats, and he did his thing. So, and Jerry West was 6'2" with a 6'9" wingspan, and he was shooting the lights out from deep. And if they had a three-point line, I argue that his career average would have been, instead of 27 points a game, it would have been at 30 points a game. We would be thinking about him in a different limelight.
I want you to clarify the fact that are you genuinely mathematically calculating that he took 3 deep shots a game?
I'm saying that if you go back and look at
just like an arbitrary, like I'm kind
of. What I'm saying is that he had range, and the incentive with
to imply that his career average would be 3 points higher would imply that he was taking at minimum and making 3 long distance jumpers a game his entire career. That is what you're implying.
I mean, I didn't watch every single.
Yeah, exactly. I
didn't watch, but his true shooting percentage is on par with. I forgot. I did this research a couple weeks ago. Now you're gonna have me going back, but it's like on par with James Harden right now. And it's like, but the incentive. But if you look at the way he played, James Harden, if you look at
because James Harden right now is
James Harden's true shooting percentage over his career is crazy. Only a few people are better than him. So I'm like, if you were to say, Jerry West, you have now a 3-point line, you're incentivized to shoot from back here. It's like, oh, really? You mean I get 33% more if I just shoot a little bit further all the time? Dude, he was an amazing shooter, and he would have easily been. He's at 27 points a game on average, whole career.
I just think as a Bitcoiner, it's really funny that your whole argument is the fact that, humans' athletic abilities inflated over time. And so you kind of can't like, shut the fuck up. All right. Let me tell you why you're wrong. All right. Did Dr. J have anything? No, he just was fucking an athletic freak and used it. Did MJ have anything? No, he was just an athletic freak and used it. Jerry West, sure, crazy wingspan, crazy range. You line him up on a list of 20, 30, 50 fucking players, and he's not cracking that list anymore. I'm sorry. I would rather have Shannon Brown than Jerry West. And I'm talking like obese Shannon Brown right now. I'm not talking like athletic, like smack the dunk and grab it.
You're literally from finance, bro. Like the numbers just, for you not to respect the numbers that Jerry.
You take Shannon Brown and drop him off in that era of the NBA, he is beating Bill Russell in NBA finals. He is arguably averaging more points, arguably averaging more assists, steals, and rebounds than Jerry West in his era because of his athletic ability. Bro, you can't teach hops. You can train to hop higher, but like you can't teach that athleticism. Jerry West wasn't.
You just think that no one back in the day in the 70s could jump and run.
I just said Dr. J.
And that was it. Just Dr. J and no one else.
Fuck yeah.
Not David Thompson. Walt Frazier couldn't run. He was just slow and weak, and he always just had a broken ankle at 23 years old. Just a poor specimen of a human, right? 6'4", 205, but nah, he ain't no athlete. Come on now, like you're disrespecting the old timers. Like, do you disrespect? When did everyone all of a sudden just get a juiced up, like in 1983 when Jordan, or 84 when Jordan came? All of a sudden they're legitimate players. Like Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley didn't play. Did Jordan play against plumbers?
No.
No. But so when did the plumbers all retire? 1979, right when Magic came in, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Like
Jerry West, top 10 player.
Bro, it was literally when the NBA and the ABA merged. Like that merge flushed out a generation of fringe athletes who would otherwise have not made it to a professional rank in the sport.
How many
Like
teams
you can
were in the
laugh
NBA?
and mock me all you want, but like
How many teams were in the NBA pre-merger?
12?
How many teams were in the ABA? Roughly, probably around the same, maybe 12, right? 12, yeah, 12ish. I wouldn't know.
I think they had 10.
10.
10, and they were losing teams.
And then all of a sudden now they jump up, so they expand and they go into about
take every
20
team.
teams. Huh?
But they don't take every team. I think they went to like 16.
Of course not. Yeah. Now we have 30 teams. You're trying to tell me that, and here's the problem with Jordan's era. During Jordan's era, they went from 24 teams to 30 over the course of 6 years. They got the Heat, the Magic, the Grizzlies, the Raptors, the Hornets, and one other team. I forget. But if you're talking about, I mentioned the Grizzlies. There's one other. But regardless, let's say 5 teams. That's expansion. That is making the talent pool weaker. But if anything, in the NBA back when they're only at 16 teams, you're saying half the people that would play nowadays, they're out. And Jerry West had to play against the absolute cream of the crop of basketball players in America. Again,
no, but you're missing a key detail here. And the key detail, which we've alluded to a couple of times, is the fact that basketball was popularized and normalized as a path.
Right.
Like people weren't just like, oh yeah, I'm going to go play in the NBA.
No, they wanted to be boxers. They wanted to be baseball players.
Yeah. Like that wasn't the payday. That wasn't where you got the bag.
Right.
People like Magic and Bird.
Right.
People like MJ gave way to the fact that now every fucking player, and Charles Barkley is going on about how the bench warmers are making $20 million a year. Like, what the fuck? I didn't make that in my career, and I could have beat any of these bums. And like, he's right to say that.
That's true.
He's right to say that. But the point I am making is that during that merge, you flush out fringe players. It happened.
Yeah.
It 100% happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you think every single player on the 76ers team, when they went from the ABA to the NBA, like made it all the way to the point where
the Nets went to the Sixers were always there. It was the Nets that went there.
But the point I'm making is that team didn't all stick around. Some of those players, they were like, hey, like this ain't for you no more.
That's right.
So then that gives way to then repopularize basketball. And now we have reached a point where, dude, go down. We went on the very first episode all the way down to 13th, 14th place in the West. They have a superstar, like not just like a good, like they got like superstar level talent. Like
that's all relative still.
I get it. But the point I'm trying to make is we have popularized basketball and
more people are playing.
Yes, there is technology and stuff that has allowed for the sport and these athletes to reach levels that Jerry West couldn't even imagine a player would do things on a basketball court that he did. Like his eyes, it doesn't comprehend for the old man's brain.
Absolutely.
The point, though, is that while, yes, there are more teams now, the quality of players is also at a different caliber that genuinely the reason why we don't talk about all these other players in the era is like, sure, Walt Frazier was a baller back in the day. I don't think he's really hanging. I would say he doesn't make a team like the Grizzlies, and not because like I'm genuinely thinking like how much is his value? Like he would play in the NBA, but like he's not going on a team like the Memphis Grizzlies. They're young as fuck, but they've got money tied up in certain ways. Like, no, I don't think he's going to make the roster on a team like, the roster he makes the Kings roster, or he makes the Clippers roster because they signed
Oh,
Just
but
about
like,
everyone. Yes.
is this a segue?
Yes. Yes. We're way too down this rabbit hole.
After 15 minutes of arguing about Back to the Future nonsense, we can actually talk about things that are relevant to this NBA Friday.
I mean, we started on this because I still believe that Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points weren't really 100 points. I think he scored like 98. Like, I think he scored like 98 or 99 or something.
And
And they're like,
Kobe's 60 wasn't really 60 on his last game.
dude, okay, fair. But there's a different game that Kobe was going off on where he would have scored more than 81, and I fully believe it. And you know the game I'm talking about. It was the same season. It was the same season.
Oh, that season where they lost in the first round of the playoffs, or did they make the playoffs? That was a loss.
No,
season.
it was a Phil Jackson season, so they made the playoffs, and yes, they lost the first round. Like, cool. The Lakers, like, this is why I say you're not really a Lakers fan.
Right, I'm not.
So Kobe drops, I forget if it's 60, just around 60 or maybe a little bit more, but he drops 60 in 3 quarters. And Phil Jackson benches him for the whole 4th quarter. It was against the Mavericks.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I remember thinking about it.
But he had 60 and 3. You said 60 and 3.
Yeah, like he was pacing to have just 80, but Kobe would have, if he had 60 and 3, like he was going to shoot for an absurd number of points, but they were up by too much and Phil just benched him for the whole 4th. So that segues into what I want to ask you, which is the top 5 all-time points scored now are at most points in a single game. Wilt, Kobe, we got Dame and Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker. Which one of the 5 does not fit with the others, and why?
Wasn't witnessing any of them in particular, but I would say yeah, the Wilt Chamberlain one probably doesn't, because it's a center doing it. It was a different time. Ball dominance goes down to the post. I would say that the other ones, they were very ball dominant guards. They would dribble up the court and not pass and shoot. I'm not saying that that's a detriment to them. Each of their teams, they lived and died by them. Was Chris Paul on the team when Booker did that, or no? Yeah, so it made sense. Yeah, so all of those guys, they were like,
Suns were like really bad. Like, I don't think they made the playoffs. I think that was the year they got like the number 1 overall pick for DeAndre Ayton. Like,
yeah,
and for context of where these teams were.
Yeah, and so I see Booker's and Kobe's very similar, very either bad or below average team. I'm pretty sure Wilt's team was somewhere up, just that you can't even count that, because he's gonna make it to the finals, lose to the Celtics. And then you have Mitchell, who's an unproven team, and what's the other? And Dame Lillard. Yeah, it's like I feel like Mitchell is an interesting separate one, because it's kind of like those other 4 teams were destined to lose. And even though Wilt's losing in the finals with 8 teams in the league, Mitchell's team is a very good team. I'm not even watching you laugh at my rationale. That's so funny. Mitchell's team is a really good team, and yet they just said, here you go, like, you're hot, and we understand that we're a winning dynamic, and it may break the chemistry, the flow. I mean, I know Garland was hurt that game, but still, it's like, it's funny to see him just go berserk and just nonstop, like, this is my game, I'm going to shoot, and we're going to win on my back. Did they win that game? Wait, they won the 71.
Which team?
The 71.
All these teams won the game.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So I'd say Mitchell stands out, just or if not stands out, closer to the Wilt one than the other ones, just because they are on somewhat of a successful team. Wilt and Mitchell are kind of on one side. Kobe, Lillard, and Booker are on the other. Yeah, because that's all that team was. Those seasons will only be remembered for that. If Mitchell loses, if Mitchell gets 71 points, his team will, like, if his team upsets, the Celtics or the Bucks, the 71 points may be an afterthought, because they may be going to the conference finals, and they'll be their team success will be bigger than that.
Yeah, I laugh at the idea that you say Wilt's team is destined to, like, all those teams are destined to lose because of the Celtics, because you're kind of giving the same bias that you give in your rankings for players of like, oh, Donovan Mitchell and that team hasn't played in the playoffs, so his team is good. But Wilt, because I know he lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Celtics, like that, he's destined to like.
I'm projecting.
Dumb take. I'm sorry. I will take time from me.
Goodness
You can have 2 more minutes of clock.
Mhm.
Redo that because that was bad. Redo that.
You want me to redo it?
I literally want because you cannot genuinely look.
Are similar.
Come up with a better way of phrasing the idea that Wilt is destined to lose. All because you know how that story. Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers are destined to lose as well. Then
yes, but they have a bet. Okay, here we go. Let's rephrase it. Mitchell and Mitchell's Cavs and Chamberlain Sixers were generally
Warriors.
good teams.
Warriors,
Philadelphia Warriors, generally good teams. The other three were generally bad teams. And so it's like, that's the dividing line. It's like, I don't really care. I remember the Booker game and I'm like, oh, wow, the Suns were like one of the worst teams in the league. And they're jumping around like they won the playoffs. It's very similar to this college guy, this 5th-year senior who was chasing Pistol Pete's all-time scoring record, cumulative. And I'm texting my old teammate, my old college teammate, and I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, why is this even a story? A 5th-year senior chasing a title that was won in 3 years. And it's like, I don't care. In fact, I care so much that he should stop before. And it just so happened he missed it by 3 points. But even if he did, I'm like, that should be a non-story. It's irrational to celebrate your team, which is 14-19, and your all-time scoring, and you're chasing an all-time scoring title. You're not even really caring if you're winning the game. So the goal of that, and that's why my ranking.
Stop talking about LeBron James.
Goodness,
literally,
oh.
you could have just taken out that player Pistol Pete and said LeBron James, Lakers, and Cleveland Cavaliers, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So, yeah. Do you also feel like? I feel like I know the answer to this, but like feeling the same about LeBron then?
I think that LeBron's title was going to, because LeBron has 20 years and Kareem has 20 years, I think that's a little more relevant, but this guy, 14-19 college season. No, I don't see that as equal. And plus LeBron has his wins. LeBron has won 4 titles. He's been to 9 finals. I don't discount him for saying, okay, now I think my current priority is passing Kareem. And if it just so happens that we win at the same time, then that's good. The Lakers aren't going to be a 3rd seed because LeBron stopped shooting. If anything, LeBron has always declined his shot option to defer to his shooters or to his second option for the betterment of his teams. So no, I don't compare those. LeBron is the GOAT. You heard it here.
So, in my opinion, Booker's being 5 on the list, being on literally the team that got the number 1 pick the following season, like you were a last place team, you're the only guy really there. Like
Lillard.
In the same vein, you can say that about Kobe because that was during the Smush Parker, Kwame Brown days. Mm-hmm. But we will not disparage the man while I'm alive and present. So as far as I'm concerned, Kobe's is better and more impressive than everyone else's on the list, objectively speaking, of course. That said, if we take that same sort of basis and rationale, I would then hold, Donovan Mitchell and Wilt Chamberlain's to a certain pedigree. And I think, my bias as well, I respect and admire Dame Lillard. I'm impressed by it, but I just don't care, if I'm being quite honest. Like the Portland Trailblazers are 14th in the Western Conference. They're not like yours is as impressive as Booker's, with the exception that like you're old now. Sorry, like you're older than I am, so therefore you're old and I'm old as fuck. So There you go.
That means I actually got to see and analyze Kobe a little more objectively than when you were in diapers cheering for him, Mamba, Mamba. Speaking of that, we get this question from how is LeBron the GOAT over Kobe or MJ? Oh my gosh.
I mean, he's not. He's not. Okay. Let me answer. Wisdom. Let me impart some wisdom onto you.
Oh my gosh.
He's not. Now I'm going to let the retard to my left speak openly and fairly about whatever he wants but just fair warning, you will get dumber listening to this take.
3 reasons. LeBron is better than Kobe. He's better than Kobe because he has better cumulative stats, he has better peak, and he is more dominant during the time he was playing. So there is never for every minute LeBron has played on the floor versus Kobe, he has contributed more to his team's success flat out. In terms of Jordan was better than LeBron per minute that he played, but LeBron did almost everything that Jordan did individually. Don't confuse team success with individual. LeBron did everything Jordan did, except Jordan did it in a tighter window. But LeBron did it over a longer time, so therefore he got better cumulative stats, and therefore his peak was longer. But Jordan is a close number 2. That's it. If you want to judge who's the most dominant player of all time, it's Jordan. If you want, and this is my crazy little stats of my website that I'll launch one day. But if you want to talk about who's the best cumulative speaking from a longevity, that would be LeBron, then Jordan. If you want to talk about who had the best peak, it would be LeBron, then it would be Jordan.
That is what?
Yeah.
I would take peak LeBron over peak Jordan over peak LeBron 10 times out of 10.
Okay.
Oh, shut up.
Okay. I'm just looking at the stats. You could say you take.
It's not the conversation I wanted to have the whole episode, but I will.
We're going to have wisdom bars talking about team wins and stuff. All that outweighs championship wins. Yeah, it does, because Jordan didn't
championships. Win. Honestly, I'm on your side, Ulric.
Thank you.
Fine. Make them irrelevant for the sake of just who is the best basketball player. If I have the 101 in any fucking opportunity, I am taking prime Jordan over prime LeBron, because I no longer need to fucking do anything. And Jordan is going to fucking make sure these guys do their fucking job, get it done, and grind harder than anyone else. And he will stoke fear in the other team. And you know what? Pussy ass LeBron James, and I said pussy ass as he is a member of the Los Angeles Lakers, and yes, I'm kicking him down while he's hurt. Pussy ass LeBron James would literally go hide behind his coach when he sees scary ass prime fucking Michael Jordan coming down the court like, I'm gonna kill you, LeBron. LeBron's gonna be Spool, please, it's Spoelstra's fault. I lost to Tim Duncan when he was 40 years old. He couldn't give me a good system to play with, and I couldn't get it done, so I have to go back to Cleveland. Okay, bye, guys. Shut the fuck up with that. The most dominant player to ever play the game, the
Michael
killer
Jordan.
Instinct, is MJ. And
that's right.
To
most
even
dominant.
say but that killer instinct, that is, you want to ignore that at your own detriment. And you are the guy who will talk shit about Michael Jordan.
I'm not. I'm saying he's
no.
great.
I want MJ to know that Sir Ulric is the one talking shit about him. So if you ever come across this man, just cross him up. I hope you are 65 years old. You two meet.
Jordan can't take me now.
I'm putting a call out to MJ right now.
You can't take me now. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, the disrespect. Did you see this video that of Austin Rivers?
I think so.
The one how you guys all suck at basketball, that one.
No, maybe not. Go ahead.
No, it's really funny. And full disclosure, I'm 99% sure this is in retaliation to all the years that I've spent bullying Austin Rivers ever since he's been a professional basketball player. And I will tell that story on another episode, but I have real estate in Austin Rivers' head, and I know that. Austin, I know you're watching this right now, and this is what I have to say to you about your fucking take that all of us suck at basketball and that all of you guys are great. Yeah, no fucking shit. The greatest moment of your career was when you were playing at Duke and you scored that buzzer beater and you looked the camera in the eyes and said bigger things are on the way, and that was the biggest moment of your career. Newsflash, buddy. Like that was the peak of your basketball career. And ever since then, you have literally, your father traded you away. Like that's how irrelevant you are. Your own dad's love wasn't enough to keep you on the basketball team. You got cut.
Austin Rivers needs to buy Bitcoin. Let's just say that.
But he went on this rant about how like all of us are fucking idiots who like we're not playing in the heat of the moment. Like he's just, as though we've never heard that. As though basketball
is he ranting on fans, or is he ranting on? Okay, got you.
Yeah, he was essentially going on about how like fans like you're not there in the heat of the moment. Like yeah, it's really easy to see that like like he's wide open right there. Yeah, from your fucking couch or from the seat in the stands, but like in the heat of the moment, you don't know what's going on. Like no shit, man, no fucking shit. Like that's why I'm a fan. But you, as the fucking player, get your head out of your ass and make the open pass. Yeah, I don't like Austin Rivers, if you couldn't tell. I don't like Doc, to be honest with you, either. I think Doc is the biggest fraud in the NBA as far as coaches go.
He's lost a lot of I mean, if you want to weigh some sort of obscure clutch stat, but I don't
give it again. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
He's
thrown games.
He is admired and respected by NBA players, which is why he gets coaching jobs. But I think, full disclosure, I think he's a little soft. Like, I think he lets players get away with too much, and so they're not held accountable. And then as a result, they don't close out in those big moments. But because, like, if Doc's a coach, we can fucking party when we go in away games, and we can skip practices and we don't get fined as much. Like, I want to play for Doc Rivers, and Doc Rivers keeps fucking getting hired. That's my take on Doc Rivers as a coach. With full disclosure, no evidence to support. No evidence whatsoever. Like, I've never spoken to a player who's played for him. Actually, no. Yeah, I've never met a player who's played for him. Like, I don't personally know that. But, like, there are, like, the stories of Pop. Like, that man is a drill sergeant. I'm not worried about a good Spurs team not being able to close out. In fact, I am worried to play against a good Spurs team because they're such disciplined players.
Assuming that a good Spurs team would ever happen again under Popovich's reign.
When they get the number one pick, the NBA draft lottery will officially be rigged for all eternity, and Victor Wembanyama, or however, I can't wait to learn his last name the way we learn Antetokounmpo.
He's gonna break his leg like Holmgren, man.
Oh man, why you gotta be that guy?
He's gonna run into the goat. The goat's gonna be driving down the lane. Well, clear the lane. Here I come once again.
Don't be bitter that you couldn't make it to the NBA, bro.
I'm not. I literally got over that like 2 years ago. Okay.
Once you started realizing that all the players in the NBA are younger than you, then you're like, I can't make it anymore.
Why do you think I love LeBron so much? And Tom Brady. Tom Brady was like, what? Tom Brady cannot retire. Oh my gosh, no.
No, Tom Brady is retired and divorced. Giselle, respond to my DMs, please. All right.
Halfway through the time, are we ever going to get to Russell Westbrook? He's ruined the Clippers, just like I said.
Let's go there, but I want to talk about. Yeah, let's just fuck it. Let's go there. We talked about so many other things. I don't want to. We can skip that one.
Tell me about Westbrook.
So we confirmed, or at least you confirmed, that Paul George was in fact the reason why Russell Westbrook went to the Clippers. That there was some heavy skepticism about Russell Westbrook, and that like it took some convincing the Clippers organization. And in my opinion, I read that as Kawhi Leonard. And you saw the clip of the Warriors last night, right? When Dame was supposed to switch on to Russell Westbrook and he was at the top of the key and literally was just like, yeah, go for it.
No, you said Draymond.
Draymond. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dre. No, I
I
said
didn't
Dre.
see the clip. I heard about it. Yeah. Of
Yeah, no,
course.
but
Why wouldn't you?
Draymond was just like, dude, Draymond was under the basket. Like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, go for it. It was literally like he backed away and couldn't have been further away. And Russ, like, bless his heart, he knows his limitations. And at no point was looking to shoot. And I mean, like, you
Which is
have
good.
1 foot on the line. Like, you're not like out of shooting range, but for Russell Westbrook, you are.
Yeah.
And just quick look at this. But the Los Angeles Clippers, as of right now, the NBA playoffs started, are playing in the play-in. Like, they have fallen down two spots since All-Star break. Look, I mean, I'm stat padding a little bit, kind of for nitpicking some stats that work for me because I hate the fucking Clippers. Full disclosure that they are half a game behind the Mavericks for the 6th seed and 1 game behind the Warriors. But look, the Warriors just, I think, proved how bad the Clippers are.
Mm-hmm.
You have no Steph Curry. You got Klay Thompson playing like not prime Klay Thompson anymore.
He's definitely not.
You got Jordan Poole as your best player. Poole is your best player. And you got Draymond Green, who you've been trying to trade for 4 fucking years now, who's somehow still on your team. Those guys beat Kawhi Leonard, who at one point was the Steph stopper, the LeBron stopper, was arguably at one point the best player in the NBA. Paul George, who this week also came out in an interview saying, like, I'm not that guy. I can be the best player on a team, but that team's not winning a championship. So I had to be real with myself on that.
Goodness.
So Paul George, good for you, but you ain't the number 2 guy, to be honest with you, bro. Like, I got news for you. You're probably like the 4th or on a bad finals team, the 3rd best player.
He's a solid 3rd.
But you beat Kawhi Leonard, shell of himself, Paul George, over like so much a shell of himself. Although, like, actually playing good. Paul George, I'll give him credit. Solid, but not a very good player, just solid. Y'all are bums. Y'all are fucking bums. Stop putting up Clippers shit anywhere in this town and acting like you guys are the real deal. Cool, fine. You might make the playoffs, and we'll get into why you might be the only LA team in the playoffs. Like, you're probably going to lose in the play-in, and you might actually have the 7 seed and lose. Like, in 1 game, anything can happen. And if the Timberwolves have Cat back and you're playing the Timberwolves, I got the Timberwolves beating you. And then you might have, I still think the Pelicans and the Jazz fall out. So that means you might have the Lakers with a healthy LeBron, because that's the only way they're playing if LeBron's healthy, or the Pelicans with a healthy Zion, which again, I don't think you're stopping. I love hearing about the Clippers not making the playoffs. Honestly, that makes me happier than the Lakers possibly sneaking into the playoffs.
But this is the kind of stuff that's happening, and that's what happens when you throw a monkey wrench in a chemistry that probably didn't need a bunch of extra guards that touch the ball. You end up adding you end up adding Eric Gordon, Russell Westbrook. Both of them are playing basically 30 minutes a game. You add Bones Highland, who's playing 10 to 15 minutes a game. And yet, what you end up doing, you end up throwing off the chemistry that was essentially a wing dominated offense, and they were fine. They were a little bit above 500, but that's good enough to be a 4 or 5 seed in a very tight West. And so now you've thrown off your chemistry. You have inefficient Russell Westbrook, who's now you're almost obligated to play him, because it's just the name, the gravity of the name. You're obligated to play Eric Gordon, and him fitting in. He's shooting 8 threes a game. it's not looking good for them. And in my opinion, before last time we talked about, hey, where do we see these teams going? I was saying I have two corrections. I was saying that the Clippers are going to hold because guess what? They're going to be ball down. They're not going to. I said they weren't going to sign Westbrook. He was going to go somewhere in Miami or Chicago. And now that he's on the Clippers, I'm like, well, here goes, here goes the inefficiency. I saw him leading the team in turnovers. They're 0-4 since he got to the team. And I do think now they're healthy, but they're broken. They're broken from a systematic standpoint. They're going to end up, I think they're going to end up being pushed out. I think that the Lakers are going to push up, and the Clippers are going to go on, continue to go on this losing streak, unless they just make the decision and say, hey, we're not playing Westbrook. We're going back to the way the team was. I don't know if Tyronn Lue has the gravity, the gravitas to make a decision like that. Westbrook's bigger than him just from a personality standpoint. I also want to make a slight amendment.
If Darvin Ham can bench Russell Westbrook as a first-year coach, Ty Lue, an NBA champion coach, again, a player's coach, was
LeBron won him that championship, but go ahead.
I don't doubt, I don't doubt that, but I'm just saying, that's a different, Ty Lue commands a lot more respect in the locker room than Darvin Ham does. And I mean, Darvin Ham, quite frankly, I want to say that,
the difference is that LeBron is probably backing up Darvin Ham. I don't think I remember you talked about Paul George pleading, convincing the team to bring in Westbrook, just like LeBron convinced the team to bring in Westbrook. LeBron turned his back on Westbrook. Now you have Kawhi Leonard. You're saying that, let's just follow your lead and say he probably had to convince Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard's looking sideways at this thing. He's looking sideways at Lou. He's like, you're going to have to do something. Paul George is like, you're not going to do something. This is how we should be. And Lou's probably going to be like, let's just run it. Let's just see what happens. I can see that happening. I will be surprised if Westbrook is benched. If they bench him, though, they're going to win. If they don't bench him, they're out of the playoffs. Let's see what happens.
Man, that's crazy to think that if you bench a player who, 5 years ago averaged a triple-double, that your team is better.
He needs to be a ball dominant play. He needs to be ball dominant on a non-playoff team. He needs to be back on Oklahoma City. He needs to be on the San Antonio Spurs or the Houston Rockets again. He should be on the Rockets. He's getting his triple-double. They love him, and they're still 13-49, and everyone's happy. And he can say, I need players, but he's never going to get them. He's a good player on a losing team, and that's okay. There's people like that. I didn't go back on what I said about. I wanted to not apologize, but just re-vector my prognosis for the Phoenix Suns. I said that they were going to go down.
No. I'm holding you fucking accountable on that one.
Because here's the catch.
You get one mulligan, and you took it on the Clippers.
That wasn't a mulligan. No,
you were never gonna get a rescind. No, you were so adamant on your awful take on the Phoenix Suns.
No, because
you were so adamant, and I ignored the text.
Cam Johnson
ignored the text.
Cam Johnson.
Not get a redo on that take.
Wait, did I text you that
as well? You were like, oh yeah, I'm rethinking the Suns. Johnson's really,
because Cam Johnson wasn't playing. Cam Johnson they were doing exactly what they did without Cam Johnson. They're going to do better. I'm saying.
No, really.
They're going to be better.
I wonder who said that take before you did.
You did. Good job. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. They're not going to go down the shit. They're not going to win anything. They're not winning. In fact, they ain't going past the second round. Not with Chris Paul. Most inefficient Chris Paul that's ever graced the floor. No, they're not going to win. They'll win the first round. They'll win the first round.
I'm muting you.
No,
terrible take. We're not.
They're going to be in the playoffs. That's all I said.
We're moving on. We need to talk the Lakers. So you alluded to this, but unless you've been under a rock, you missed this. LeBron James is out for the next 3 weeks with a sore tendon. I'm in the camp that actually thinks this is going to be a lot worse. I've torn a tendon not just my Achilles tendon, but like I've done like a light tear on a tendon that like doesn't require surgery, that you just sort of like ice and rest to come back. And it takes longer than you think.
What's the official injury?
Sore tendon.
A sore tendon.
Yes.
No tear. I'm sure they MRI'd it.
They did not say it. There's a tear, but he is officially out for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be out for longer, unfortunately, but who knows? I think truly the only way he comes back, and I'm going to say it, is if he takes some steroids to heal the tendon faster and then goes off of them to then like flush it out of his system. That's the only way he's coming back before the playoffs. I don't want a like hobbling LeBron back. I like these Lakers right now. Like they're like, dude, Jared Vanderbilt, give me that Vandy love, man. That kid is a baller. That is a young, like, you know who he reminds me of? Just he's taken that Trevor Ariza in 2009 role, like that KCP kind of role in 2020. Like he's that guy for us. And I really like, he is an like that kid is winning an NBA championship. It might not be with the Lakers, but he will win an NBA championship because he is sort of that piece of the puzzle. Bye, Ulric. Oh, hello, Ulric.
Did I mess up? That was me, huh? Sorry about that. But even a longer shot back in time in comparison, I see that as a slightly larger, a longer Michael Cooper. And Michael Cooper was like, he was that sixth man that could run and stop the opposing team's best player. I forgot. I think they were playing against Dallas. Yeah, it was Dallas. And he gave Luka Doncic so much trouble during that epic comeback. And those are the kind of things where it's like, you just, especially with LeBron being older, he just doesn't want to. I know how 38, 39 feels. You don't want to have to chase people if you're going to be reliant on such a heavy, I know how that feels. You don't want to have to chase people if you're reliant on that on handling most of the doing most of the ball handling. And
I know what 38 feels like.
Man,
you old as fuck.
Man,
I love you, bro.
It's okay. I can still dunk though.
Yeah, 8.5 foot hoop,
bro.
That hoop was not 10 feet.
Ask about
that hoop wasn't
me.
10 feet.
I know it wasn't 10 feet, but ask about me elsewhere. Please ask about me.
Another thing that was, I think, worth pointing out, I want to kick the Clippers while they're down and rub salt in their wounds. But that same Warriors team that put a ass whooping, a full shellacking on the Clippers just a night ago, just 24 hours ago, that same Warriors team lost to a Lakers team sans LeBron and AD. So either the Lakers role players are better than the Clippers, or the Clippers are just that fucking bad, which I think it's more the latter than anything else. Austin Reeves, baller.
I think the Lakers have the role players. Honestly, I see their supporting cast, assuming everyone's healthy. I like this supporting cast more than the Lakers championship run. Now, mind you, I like KCP and his three, but all of those things, all those dynamics, they have the 3-and-D. They have a reliable point guard. I love D'Angelo's game. I like. The problem is that you have an older LeBron and a lazier and even more injured Anthony Davis and an even more injured LeBron. But these players, the only thing missing from them now and what they had in 2020 is a little more experience. They're a younger version. But again, you have the defense, you have the shooting, you have a good, solid, reliable point guard. I just think that maybe it's just a little bit too late putting it all together. But I didn't that Orlando, that Mickey Mouse championship. Like, I like this team more. I'm just saying. And I'm not. That's me being you. I'm not even.
No, because Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, yes, they're not like the all-star caliber, but those guys come with experience, that presence in the paint, that you take so much pressure off of AD as a result of that. Mo Bamba ain't picking up that same slack. And Rajon Rondo, baby, that dude is what? Bubble Rajon? That dude locked players down.
Yeah.
That Alex Caruso, Like, respect for Vanderbilt, but like, dude, KCP, Alex Caruso, Rajon Rondo, like, dude, no backcourt stood a chance against those three.
Yeah.
That was a monstrous backcourt as far as like perimeter D goes.
Yeah, no, I mean their defense is really good. I mean you do have a point. I mean maybe I'm being a little fanboy here, but
Yeah, and you're not a fan of the Lakers, so take my fucking name out your fucking mouth.
Man, drop the
I
mic
don't.
there, Nick. Don't drop that mic.
I'm not gonna drop the mic.
I
No,
do.
I'm just
The
busting
Lakers.
balls. I'm busting balls.
The Lakers will be fine with LeBron out. I don't think and this again is pertinent on AD being the nasty that he came out with post All-Star game that last those 2 games. If he can maintain that 25-15 dynamic on a nightly basis, LeBron can rest easy because what's his name's coming, D'Angelo's coming back on Friday. I think Davis is coming back. Are they coming back tonight? Are they playing right now?
Let me check.
They're playing. They start playing. They're supposed to.
They play tonight against the
What's the injury
Timberwolves.
report?
I'm pulling it up right now.
They don't want to be. These are the kind of games that these are must wins for them.
I think AD's playing tonight.
Jeez, but not.
No, Braun's out for 3 weeks.
No, I'm talking about D'Angelo. He will not play. This will be, that they caught lightning in a glass. I think that's the term that you say when they lightning in a bottle. That sounds so stupid. Lightning in a bottle when they won that last game. Surprising. I don't think that they'll be able to repeat that too often with a broken team. So if they don't get their guys healthy, if they suffer even the most minor injury like Vanderbilt, their season's over. So
totally, I actually think that Vanderbilt is more important than D'Angelo Russell. Like, like the team will live and die with AD. If AD goes down, we're out.
They have Schroeder. Schroeder's fine as a fill-in for D'Angelo Russell. Honestly, I've always loved Schroeder. I think he can. Yeah. Okay. Look at it. Look at his numbers. Trust.
Honestly, the best thing that ever happened to the Lakers was that Schroeder did not take that contract extension, and then they got absolutely shellacked by the Suns, specifically Schroeder, who was like blowing layups, like couldn't play, and then had to go take a minimum contract with the Celtics. And then for some fucking reason, Pelinka acted like that never happened and was like, yeah, no, let's bring him back. The dude literally, like, playoff basketball is different. And the dude proved he cannot play playoff basketball. So who are you kidding?
You trying to tell me that Schroeder is a bad ad on a minimum deal?
I just think relying on Schroeder to make a run in the playoffs is a bad idea.
I think you can rely on him to make a run to 10th place
in the regular season, but then you literally need a different player in the playoffs.
You will need him to be a backup the same way Reggie Jackson was a good backup.
Yes, right. Yes, absolutely.
If the Lakers aren't healthy,
he can slot in during the regular season to pick up some minutes, absolutely. But playoff basketball, like if D'Angelo Russell, like that's another thing where it's like, sure, we can get to the playoffs playing without D'Angelo.
Yes.
But we're not winning without D'Angelo. We're not winning without LeBron.
Yes.
Like, tonight will be interesting. Like we're playing the Timberwolves. This could be a team that you end up playing against in the play-in. Like, you're about to see the Jazz go down. So Jazz lose, Lakers win. Lakers are now a play-in team. Like now you're a top 10 team. Dude, the Lakers, you play your cards right here. I mean, again, it comes down to health for them. But they're 2 games behind the Clippers. Like you can make a run at possibly playing that or at least having a game to lose. You can get to the 8 seed, play that game, possibly win, and then you're the 7 seed. Or, hey, okay, fine, you lost, but at least you lost one, and now you get a second chance game. So,
I think the Jazz are not incentivized to win right now, and that's the catch. They're incentivized to scope out their new talent. That's why they didn't care about Westbrook staying on the team. That means that when you don't have that urge, it's like we gotta win. No, they gotta play their youth to figure out their next few seasons. They're going to go down. They're going to lose just because they're just feeling things out. The Lakers are going to press for a playoff spot. The Trailblazers are going to press for a playoff spot. I think the Lakers are better than the Trailblazers, but that depends on health. The Clippers, in my opinion, the more they play Westbrook, the more they're going to say, "What the heck happened to the 4th seed? Now they're the 11th." That's my new hot take. I do see the Clippers, assuming they maintain this same rotation. That's a rotation for destruction.
Fair. I don't think the Clippers are going to fall out of the play-in. I think
2 games.
I know, but I don't think that the teams below them, short of OKC really going on a run, I don't think the Clippers are going to, like, I have faith that Paul George can get it done in the regular season. Like, I get it. Like, at this point, these are playoff basketball level intensity games. It's still the regular season. You're still playing the 9th, 10th guy off the bench. He's still getting some minutes here or there. So as far as I'm concerned, until you start seeing those lineups consolidate, you're still seeing some like regular season basketball played. That said, like, again, I love it. I fully support it. I will take a different stance on something. I will own the fact that I thought the Brooklyn Nets would like collapse and fall. Shout out the Brooklyn Nets. They're about to beat the Celtics. So the Nets could cause problems. I'll agree that I was wrong on that. They're not going to collapse.
They've lost 4 in a row, but I think that if they can figure out those 12 people and figure out their rotation, they'll be a formidable team that could win a first round playoff game.
Totally. Like, beating the Celtics just proves to me that this is a team that could genuinely like just give you a problem. Like a problem could be taking a first round series against the 7 seed to 7 full games. You could tire yourself. Like, that could just be a problem. That could bite you in the ass later on in the playoffs. So that is what I mean by they could give someone a problem. Like,
and speaking of problems, you have Doc Rivers, who you don't trust, James Harden, you don't trust, Embiid, who you don't trust, and they're right now slated to play them in the first round. So you're talking about problems. That's the scary thing. Maybe the Celtics will win, but
no, 76ers, you mean?
Yeah, the 76ers. Maybe the Celtics will beat them in a 7 seed, but they're slated to play the Sixers right away. That's
wait. What are you talking? Do you mean to say the Nets this time? You keep saying the Celtics.
I'm saying if they go down to the 7th seed, the Celtics will probably sweep them. The Celtics or Bucks, depending on who's the first and second.
Okay.
But they will likely be a 6th seed, assuming everything ends right now. They're going to be playing the Sixers. That's not a guarantee based on everyone's understanding of how the pinnacles, the peak, the pillars of that team, Rivers, Harden, and Embiid, show up in the playoffs. So it's scary.
Fair. I mean, honestly, James Harden, there are just too many distractions in Brooklyn for him. That man's going to eat too many chicken wings and go to too many strip clubs. You know I'm right, though. You know I'm right.
He's due.
There are just certain players who, like, you should have stayed in OKC because there weren't too many distractions for you. But no, I don't actually mean that, because he won an MVP. He won.
That's right. You have to pursue your MVP. But I get what you mean as far as like
Ben Simmons literally needs to go like live in Montana and fly in for his games. That is what the Nets should do. The Nets should literally let Ben Simmons be the only remote NBA player where he trains full time in just some fucking isolated place. So he's like prioritizes basketball for the first time in his life.
Utah Jazz.
No, he'd fucking find a way, bro. He'd find a way. Like,
Life
literally
finds a way. I still haven't figured out my favorite show.
Bro. Like, don't hurt yourself trying to just think of a TV show.
I'm not. I'm watching what do you think of The Mandalorian?
I fuck with it. I enjoy it. Like, I'm like,
it's the only well-made Star Wars thing now.
So I'll admit, like, I'm a bit of a Star Wars slut. Like, it's one of my favorite. Like, I love fantasy universes like that.
You see my shirt?
Oh, nice.
Star Wars in Japanese.
So, like, dude, I thought the Obi-Wan series actually kind of slapped. Like,
I thought it was
I
fine. It was okay.
I enjoyed it. Like, I've never gone back and seen episodes 7, 8, or 9. Like, I literally
More
saw
than
them in the
once.
theater, but it was like one of those things where I was like, okay, like I like Star Wars, so I liked
I
this.
cried in episode 8 because of the way they killed Luke. Don't tell anyone. Oh, I'm telling everyone.
Yeah,
Uh,
you told that public. I mean,
all,
there was a
all
while
three
where
people.
my fucking crazy take was, honestly, like, it wouldn't surprise me if I got fired because of this take. But so I worked in Hollywood and I looked people dead in the eyes and said,
Oh,
episode 8 is the best Star Wars episode. Star Wars movie. There was like a moment in time in my
were you
life.
just trolling?
No, I was like, my whole basis was like, I
That.
like overly emphasized the casino scene where
Mm.
he like, I was like, oh my god, Star Wars is like fucking calling out the US government, like, let's go. I loved it. And like, I've talked to execs who worked at Lucasfilm who were like talking about, like, they were like, they really wanted to make a point to put that in the movie. And then, like, it's one of those things where as it sat with me longer, I was like, oh, it was so overly forced because they didn't close the loop on it in the 9th movie. Then that was sort of when I was like, all right, this is retarded. Like,
Mm.
that you were just doing it to be preachy. That's, if it naturally flows into the story, you work it in poetically. Like, that's
Can't
beautiful.
naturally flow in anything with 3 different directors. I'm sorry, one director, then another director, then go back to another.
Yeah, but like, I don't blame Ryan Johnson. Like, he was just put in a no-win situation. And like, to be honest, like, J.J. Abrams, I don't get it. The dude has lived out like nerd fantasies getting to remake Star Trek and Star Wars, and botched Star Wars, but somehow gave the Star Trek nerds like something to like actually appreciate, at least like a couple of good movies. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, as Star Warsers, we should band together and like go hunt down J.J. Abrams.
Or just make a decentralized fan film that budgeted decentralized and make our
No,
own. No, you
no,
can't do that. Bitcoin.
we're dumb. No, we're too, like, there's a level of stupidity in like some fan fiction stuff where I'm like, let
There's
George Lucas do this. Like, truthfully.
no, you're
Um,
right.
but yeah,
Bitcoin doesn't
I
fix everything.
I fuck with Mandalorian. Like, there's a little bit of cheesiness where it's like, it's just a Western set in space, and like, for me, there comes a point where TV that goes on for too long, like episodic TV, where like when you just start doing, like, I love House. And there are moments where I'll just binge episodes of House nonstop. But then there just comes a point where I'm like, okay, something happens. They try it, they think it's one thing, it doesn't work. They try another. There's some drama going on in the personal life. It doesn't work again. And then at the last minute, they save the patient. And then, like, there's one episode of season where they don't. Okay, literally, Mandalorian, same fucking thing. There's usually a giant beast that they gotta fight. Then, like, he's trying to do something for Baby Yoda. But of course, like, present situation like presents itself, so he has to deal with the current thing, and then like you're set up for that. Like, it's
It's
a
it's such a
formula.
simple formula.
Yeah, but I like it. Like,
That's right.
I'm a simple-minded person, so I like it. Like, I'm
Star
not
Wars is supposed to be simple.
but there just comes a point where it's like, I'd rather, like, the Obi-Wan series. This is something that irks me a lot. The Obi-Wan series was supposed to have Darth Maul. It was supposed to be very dark. It was like a very twisted version of this story.
Mm.
And Kathleen Kennedy didn't like I think she's still president of Lucasfilm.
Mhm.
Not enough female representation, so they
Okay.
redid it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happened.
No,
That happened.
Bitcoin ballers. No, anti woke. Sorry, can't. Yeah, it hurts my heart.
No, I like, it pissed me off. Like, it was supposed to be incredible, bro. Like, it was gonna be incredible. That was gonna be like the thing, and she botched it. She fucking botched it because she just wanted to stare at a pussy on the TV screen. And the worst part, honestly, is like, these studio execs will make these decisions, and they'll do it on the basis of like it's gonna be good for the numbers,
Yeah.
but it's never good for the story. And there's a degree where I think, and we're so off base now, so I'm gonna say this take,
That's okay.
let you take it for the last word. But
Yes.
I'm also like I'm a Marvel fan. Like I got a weird take for you on the new Ant-Man movie where I actually liked it
Never
from
seen.
the aspect of compared to all the other Ant-Man movies, it was probably my favorite because Jonathan Majors and the King the Conqueror character in that movie in particular was it was so awesome to watch that villain that made that movie so dope, and the other villains sucked in Ant-Man. Like
Mm,
they were just uninteresting to me. So for that reason, that's why I hold it to that pedigree. Again, I think there's a little hopeful optimism that like Kang becomes something like really cool in this universe. And so I might, in the same way that I thought fucking episode 8 was really dope, like I might end up getting disappointed, and Marvel might like try to do too much woke stuff. Like Eternals was overly woke, and I think unfortunately places like Marvel and the Star Wars universe, like they're gonna do things to upset like the hardcore fan base just
that's right.
one too many times, and then all of a sudden things will fall flat. And then you've invested all of this money into a show that you've pissed off your hardcore fan base so much that they don't show up. And then like the super woke people will always find something to get upset over. So then all of a sudden you like put out like, oh, you know what? We made an alternate universe where Obi-Wan Kenobi is actually a woman and Anakin Skywalker is a transgender
They're,
male to
they're they're
female.
already they're already working on Luke being homosexual.
I mean, irrelevant. Like irrelevant. I'm literally saying like they will destroy the fabric of like changing these characters, and
That's right.
it just won't be well
And
received.
then and then that audience that complains and pushes so much will move on to something else because it's no longer relevant. And then they'll be left with no fan base and a broken brand that has been ruined by appeasing the loud minority, if you will. Gosh,
To
did
answer
we?
Andrew's question, yes, this is what happens when we're live. Like we started talking about Star Wars.
We're
This is
live.
on the Bitcoin Ballers podcast, of course.
Thank you, Anders, Extemos, Wisdom, Kay, my coworker, for joining. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys, and yeah, sometimes we'll get into a little bit of off topics things, but you can always find us here, and I would love seeing you guys join into the chat. You know, we want to be able to have our conversations as a in what's the word interactive as possible. You know, you guys
Proud
are
of
our
you, man. That was a
brothers.
big word for you today.
Oh my goodness, there we go. Anyways, are we going back to basketball, or are we out of time?
We can go for a little bit. I'm getting hungry, so I want to go eat food.
I think we should
But
probably stop. What are we looking at? So, I mean, generally speaking, over the next few days, what's your take on the East Coast? What's your take on the West Coast? And maybe we should call it a day.
I still like I I did bring up, like I love seeing this Nets team like, be prickly and, cause problems for teams. The Miami Heat are only 1.5 games behind them to get out of the play-in. I still kind of stand firm. I think the Nets could be the team that falls down into the play-in, and I think that the Heat are the team most likely. The Bulls are only a game and a half back now with the Wizards as well. So, like, I probably am still in the camp of so long as Lonzo is out, Bulls won't get it over the hump, but I wouldn't be surprised if something happens. Um, Loving the Clippers. I think what I'm really just gonna watch for, selfishly, is how do the Lakers continue to perform. It'll be interesting too. Like players get hot. I want to see how Dame keeps going right now, and if Dame can sort of, I think, get on a little bit of a streak, like they can go off. And then of course I'm really looking forward to Lakers versus OKC because Shy was pissed at LeBron after the All-Star game. And I think Shy is about to go off against us and put us in our place a little bit. I hate saying that as a fan, but like I'm just, you know, AD, we live and die by you at this point. Like this is your squad. I get it. You won the shit. You won it for Kobe the year Kobe passed away, probably because Kobe's spirit helped carry you guys more than you want to admit. Prove to us that you can actually do it for Kobe. You can devote this season, this run to Kobe. That is acceptable. I'll allow it, bro. Like, fuck, get your shit together. So that's what I'm watching.
From a lesser emotional standpoint, I could see again
There was
the
no
Nets are,
emotion in that. That was all objective journalism.
of course. The Nets are going to continue to build their chemistry with their dozen B+ players, which is not necessarily a bad thing. A la Knicks before Carmelo Anthony 10 years ago. But I think that the East, like we predicted, the East is pretty locked in. I don't see too many changes, barring some, crazy streak. The Knicks have won 7 in a row. So things can happen, but I do see, the East being pretty locked in. With the West. Again, I apologize for the Phoenix Suns assessment. Cam Johnson, I wasn't too fully aware that he was injured for half the season.
You weren't familiar
It's my
with
turn to
Cam
talk.
Johnson's game.
It's my turn to talk.
Shut up. You missed the opportunity to make the joke. I got to make the joke for you.
What? I'm sorry. What?
Have you not seen this meme of Shaq where he's like, I apologize for not being too familiar with your game. You need to apologize to Cam Johnson. Do it the right way.
I ain't apologizing to Cam. If anything, I'll apologize to the Phoenix Suns. And the Phoenix Suns, they're going to be a solid team. They're going to stay they're not going to go in the play-ins, but they're going to run into issues when they got Chris Paul, who's my age, trying to guard all these dynamic guards in the NBA right now. I think that they're a first-round exit. The Lakers will
keep subtly trying to admit that you're not bitter about not playing in the NBA while there are players your age playing in the NBA. You're not bitter. You've convinced me you're not bitter.
I was an engineer playing in college basketball. I'll take that. I was never destined, but it's always gonna hurt. You're gonna shed a tear once a year, saying like, man, if only I was 6 inches taller.
Hey man, if I didn't care about money, I would have gone and played professional soccer, and then here I am living in my parents' basement, not making money right now. So clearly.
Well, you will be on the Bitcoin stage in Miami, so that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, use promo code QQQ. Get 10% off. Come party in Miami.
Segue. See, I'm a point guard, bro. I be throwing the dimes for you. But yeah,
you ain't like a Steve Nash type. You're more like
don't call me Smush.
I was gonna say Eric Snow. I'll give you that.
Oh, I can shoot. I can.
Can you?
Yeah.
Can you?
Look me up, bro.
Oh yeah, I'll add that to the things on top of the fact that you can dunk.
Don't look me up. The Lakers. The Lakers will make the playoffs. The play-ins. They will make the play-ins because they have that incentive. LeBron is getting older. They got younger players that want to prove their worth. They're going to pass. They're going to get in when the Utah Jazz get pushed out. Zion gets healthy. They're going to stay. If they don't, they're going to fall. So we'll see. But it's again, the playoffs have already started. It's going to be an intense last month and a half before April.
On that note, because the Lakers are about to tip off in like 15 minutes and I need to get some food. And I do want to make it official that the Brooklyn Nets did beat the Boston Celtics. Fuck you, Boston. That's right. I said it. Fuck the Celtics, man. I don't care who wins so long as it ain't the Celtics and definitely not the Clippers. Like literally anyone else can win the championship. Just not those two teams. This has been another episode of the Bitcoin Ballers podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will be back next week at a time and place of our choosing, and we will surprise you all at the last minute because that's how we do it.